Hi guys, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making a quinoa lentil loaf for Thanksgiving or the holidays. You know, it's such an exciting time that's coming up, and for those of you who are vegetarian or who are trying to reduce your meat consumption, and maybe you're thinking, maybe I won't have turkey this year, maybe I want to have a vegetarian main dish instead. Well, this is for you. This quinoa lentil loaf is spectacular and it is so satisfying. So even if you're a meat eater, you're not going to miss the meat and you're going to feel like it's wholly decadent and worth it for a special occasion dinner. So stick around and I'm going to show you exactly how to make quinoa lentil loaf with a savory tomato glaze. I'm just here prepping the vegetables for the vegetable saute that goes into the lentil loaf. So I've got celery and 1 carrot and a little bit of green pepper. And I've already prepped up, here's some garlic, green chili, which can also be jalapeno, and onion. So I'm going to start with the celery. Just going to chop off the ends. Actually like these leaves. They're actually a special kind of nutrition. I enjoy adding them, so I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to take off the little end here. Keep that one. Okay. I'll start with these little guys first. Scrunch them up together to make it easier to chop. Okay, so I'm going to slice these down the long edge. Might be easier to chop it in half first. And just lining them up. And again, mincing celery. Good to make them nice and small so that your lentil loaf is nice and homogeneous. I have this thing where I always tend to put more vegetables, bulking up the vegetables over other ingredients. And here I am doing it again. So just lining these up again. Lovely. Now the green pepper. That is so cute. You see that? I'm just going to take out the seeds. And I don't mind this white part inside, actually. It's a little bit bitter, but to me that just adds taste. Bitter taste is actually something that you want in every meal. The bitter taste helps to bring balance overall. It's one of the 6 tastes in Ayurveda. I really think that that's why most people are taught to remove the white part, is simply that it's a little bit bitter. Because it's definitely edible. So there we go. Beautiful green pepper. These are so crisp because they came out of the garden just like a day or 2 ago. There we go. So that's beautiful. So now we're ready to start the vegetable saute. All right, so we're ready to start assembling the lentil loaf. So the first thing I've got here is some tomato paste. And I've got some Dijon mustard. So we're really adding some flavor now to this, right? This is a vegetarian dinner main substitute. So I'm just mixing this together. The next thing I'm going to do is just chop up some walnuts. So now we're adding even more protein into this, but this also adds texture. This is adding some bite into the loaf. So I'm just going to put that in now. Lentils and quinoa. Look at that. And the vegetable saute right here. Gonna mix it all together. Now, the next thing to consider is that this is a little bit wet, and the reason is because I still had a tiny bit of water in the lentils and the quinoa. And that could happen to you too. You know, it's best if everything is absorbed and it's nice and dry, but you know, then you risk maybe burning it a little bit. So a little bit of extra water isn't a problem. So, but what you want to do is reduce some of the water by adding a binder. So in this case, I have some breadcrumbs. If you don't want to use wheat, or you could use almond flour instead of wheat, or you could use oat flour. Good idea to kind of grind up the oats a little bit so that they're not whole oats, and that makes it a little easier to absorb. I think this is good. I can tell that, you know, it's wet, but it's not, it's hard to describe. It's not overly wet, okay? So that's what you want. And now we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so it's time to put the prepared mixture into the loaf pan. And I've got here just a piece of parchment paper that I cut to fit. You just want to set it in there. It shouldn't come too high over the top, but it should fit in there nicely. And this is so that it doesn't stick to the edges, and also it makes it easy to take out. It also helps to keep the glaze that we're going to put on the final touch before we put it into the oven. I'm going to do it carefully at the beginning. This looks really, really good, and it's a good consistency. You can see that it's holding together, and that's what you want. I can see all the vegetables sticking out, which is nice, and it kind of really does look like meat, actually. I can assure you, though, that it does not taste like meat, if that's not something you like. So you just want to flatten it onto the top. You can see there's just enough room to fit the glaze on top. So we're just going to quickly mix up the glaze, put it on, and then we're going to put this in the oven. All right, time to make the glaze. So what I have here is some organic ketchup. I've got some Worcestershire sauce, and it's actually a vegetarian one. And then I've also got a teaspoon of soy sauce here, and maple syrup. And I have some chipotle. So this is actually going to be a chipotle glaze, but in the recipe I say you can use any hot sauce you like, or if you don't like things spicy, you can just omit it. Just going to mix that together. Add just a little bit of water to thin it out so that it spreads nicely. Just goes right on top. And you can just spread it out. This is always the most exciting part because now your work is done. The only thing left is to put it in the oven and bake it. Can you see that? Isn't it beautiful? So now we're going to bake it, and it's going to get this sheen from the glaze, and then we're going to enjoy it. So just wait, I'm going to put it in the oven. All right, so the loaf has rested for 15 minutes, and now we're going to take it out. So I'm just going to use my knife to touch down the edge here. Doesn't really need it because we used the parchment paper, but some of the paper didn't fully go up on this side, so just making sure that that's released. I'm going to carefully lift it out. Ta-da! Look at that. There we go. Yeah, beautiful. So you can set that, so main dish, holiday table, set that out on a platter, and then you can use a knife to slice off pieces. There it is. I'm going to show you what you could have with it. Just put that loaf onto the plate. Go. I just made some lovely mashed potatoes with celeriac root, and so that's really high in fiber, nice vegetable. Gonna have that with it. And then I just cooked up some greens from the garden. I have kale and Swiss chard, and I just sauteed it with a tiny bit of oil and a little bit of spice. So I think greens are the perfect complement for this, because the loaf, especially with its tangy glaze, tastes a little bit on the sweet side. So with the greens, with a little bit of bitter, it's really a lovely complement. So let's give the loaf a taste, shall we? I love it. The chew that I'm getting is actually from the walnuts. So it gives us incredible texture. So even though it's soft, there's a lot of texture inside. And then of course we put that bit of spice on the glaze and a little bit of sweetness. So it tastes really, really yummy and really deeply satisfying. For something vegetarian, this is really, really hitting the spot. I'm gonna have it with the potato now. It's really good. This is a great main course, but you can also use it as a meat substitute, say with a burrito, or imagine a slice of this inside a sandwich. You know, it's got a built-in spread from the top, and it would be really, really lovely in a sandwich. Very, very satisfying. Take it for lunch, or hey, have it for dinner. Leftovers, you've got plenty of meals here. So holiday dinner or everyday dinner, your choice. I really want to thank you for watching, and I hope that you enjoy this leek and lentil loaf, a complete vegetarian protein and satisfying even for the most discerning meat eaters. Bye for now.